Kuriboh is one of those cards that keeps getting reprinted in various forms, and for as random an assortment of cards as Yugi's deck seemed to be, Kuriboh was one of the consistent points, not just being in his deck, but playing a big role from Duelist Kingdom onward, though ironically not being featured in the final duel of the series. The original Kuriboh has received sporadic support throughout the years, most of these cards being ones from the anime, so now it is up to us to make Yugi's most iconic monster this side of Dark Magician as competitive as possible. The premise of the Kuriboh deck is strength in numbers. Much like how Kuriboh is able to overpower ace boss monsters like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Thousand Eyes Restrict, and later in the series able to combine themselves into the likes of Kuribabylon, this deck is all about putting together Kuriboh monsters to act as powerful effects. Our first monster is Ninja Kuriboh, sharing the same stats as the original Kuriboh. His effect can be activated when your opponent targets a Kuriboh monster for an attack. He special summons himself, then switches control with one monster your opponent has. His other effect works when he's sent from your opponent's field to your graveyard, which then allows you to send one card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. Next is Herald of Kuriboh, a light fairy tuner who takes on the effects of the three colored heralds as well as being able to negate a special summon by discarding himself and one other Kuriboh monster. Next we have Cyberkuriboh, the level 5 machine monster with 1300 attack and 1200 defense that can be special summoned if only your opponent controls a monster, much like Cyber Dragon. His level is significant here because it allows you to combo with 5-star Twilight and some other cards we'll show here in a bit. Rounding out the main deck monsters is Alternative Kuriboh, which can be special summoned from your hand by revealing another Kuriboh monster in your hand. He takes on the name of Kuriboh on the field and in the graveyard, which allows it to work with Multiply and Detonate, but moreover, like Cyber, he's a level 5 who can work with combos that require a level 5 monster. His other effect is that when you activate the effect of a Kuriboh monster, you can send him from the field to the graveyard to target one Kuriboh monster or Kuribabylon in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Now for the extra deck monsters, first up is Synkuriboh, a level 5 synchro that can be made generically, but if you have 5 Kuriboh monsters, you can treat one of them as a tuner. He has the effect where if your opponent targets one card you control with a card effect or for an attack, you contribute one Kuriboh monster from your hand or field to negate that effect or attack. And when he's sent to the graveyard, during that end phase you can banish him to special summon 5 Kuriboh monsters with different names from your graveyard. Finally, we have number 555, Stackuriboh, who can be XC summoned either with 2 level 5 monsters or 5 level 1 Kuriboh monsters. He has 2 effects, the first of which is a quick effect where you can detach one material to give all fiend monsters you control 300 attack for every Kuriboh monster in your graveyard. The second is he can tribute himself to special summon one level 5 monster from your deck or grave, then you can add one Kuriboh spell or a spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. You'll find as we go through the rest of the support that it is this effect that really keeps the deck going. This deck doesn't have any traps and only 3 additional spells that we created, so a fairly monster heavy deck. The first spell is the field spell Land of Kuriboh. Its first effect helps to offset some of the inherent -1s of Kuriboh effects by allowing you to draw a card once per turn when you send a Kuriboh monster card to the graveyard as a cost. It can further replenish your hand once per turn by adding one Kuriboh monster from your graveyard to your hand when your opponent declares an attack. So either way, it responds to an attack via Classic Kuriboh, Ninja, and some others, or set up your next turn play. Finally, it has built-in protection where you banish a Kuriboh monster from your graveyard if this card would be destroyed. The next spell is Gathering of Kuriboh. This card costs 1 card from your hand in order to add up to 2 Kuriboh monsters and or Curry Bandit from your deck to your hand. This is much needed consistency in order to get Astral, Alternative, or Cyber to make some level 5 plays, or even Herald to ensure your plays aren't disrupted through hand traps. Finally, we have the Ace card 5-star Daylight, a normal spell that is the opposite of 5-star Twilight, where you contribute a level 5 monster to add 5 Kuriboh speller traps, or speller traps that mention it, with different names from your deck and or graveyard to your hand. This card is instrumental in helping to set up the combos for the rest of the turn, and is the go-to search card for Stackuriboh. So that does it for the Kuriboh support. Hope you enjoyed. Comment your thoughts and feedback below, and be sure to like and subscribe as we try our hand at making something out of a long forgotten mechanic of the card game.